in this last session, I'd like to start with another meditation. And in this meditation, again, we're going to be focusing on the breath. But this time, it'll be your choice what you want to focus on. So far today we've been... not cured. So far today we initially focused on the full body, which was very helpful for relaxation. Then we moved to the abdomen, which is good for stability. And then the last session we were focusing at the nostrils. So now you've had a chance to meditate with each of those at least twice, I think. So in this meditation, you choose which one you prefer. So I'll do less guiding, which will I'll give a little bit of preparation, and then when we go into the actual meditation, I'll just get you to choose your object, and then you can work with that yourself. One thing I will mention before the meditation is, and this is something you can do in your practice as well, is let's say, for example, that normally you want to use the nostrils, and you're using the nostrils, but then on a particular day, you get a lot of distractions. You know, you're distracted a lot and it doesn't seem to work. Then you can shift back, if you find it easier to focus, go back to the abdomen for a few minutes to stabilize, and then go back to the nostrils. Or if you're focusing on the abdomen or the nostrils, let's say, and on a particular day you have a lot of tension in the body and the mind, and you can't release it, then shift back to just the full body awareness of sensations throughout the body, emphasizing relaxation for a few minutes, and then go back to the abdomen or the nostrils. So that's something you can do. You shift back a gear if you've got some difficulties in your meditation. So just to mention that.
Is it good to shift within a session?
Yes. Yeah, so again, if you're normally using the nostrils, and let's say in a particular, and you met, not of course at the first sign of distraction, but let's say you sit down and you find yourself a lot of tension, and you're trying to relax, still a lot of tension, and you don't want to stay here with a lot of tension because it creates a bad habit. So let's say for 5 or 10 minutes you're trying to release the tension, it's not working, then just shift back to full body for maybe even the rest of the session. But shift back until you can relax. Once you're in a more relaxed state, then go back to the nostrils. So that's completely okay, because if we stay, for example, here with a lot of tension, that can really build up and make it harder to release it in the future. So then shift back if you need to release that. So that's quite okay.
But then I could find myself shifting back and forth.
No. Again, not at the first sign of tension. It's only after some time if you're trying to release the tension and it's not working. No, otherwise you just, what you don't want to do is just keep moving around all the session. This is counterproductive. So I'm only suggesting in a case where you've tried to remedy the fault, but it's persisting over time, then maybe shift back as a last resort.
What about concentration problems? Let's say I'm trying to concentrate, I'm not talking about tension, and I'm losing my concentration during the session. What do you recommend? To shift back to some big areas, or...?
Well, again, if you're talking about stability, you're getting distracted.
Yeah.
Well, of course, let's say you're working at the nostrils.
Yeah.
Then, of course, as a beginner, we're probably going to get distracted. Mm-hmm. And so let's say on average you get distracted a certain amount here, and it's okay, you're working with it. But then in a particular meditation, you're way more distracted than normal, and you can't seem to keep focus there. Then in that occasion, then maybe move back to the abdomen or full body. Of course you'll get distracted because that's what we're trying to work with. Mm-hmm. But I'm suggesting in a case where it gets extreme, and you can't really work with it, then maybe you look at shifting back, but not every time you get distracted, because it's not going to work.
Thank you.
What is the benefit of the nostrils compared to the other?
So, a couple of things. One is that because the nostrils is higher, as you're moving up, then of course you're moving up in the body, and it's more subtle. So those two things really help to improve clarity of attention. The fact that it's higher up in the body, you're focusing, and it's more subtle, will help to improve clarity of attention.
Of attention?
Yeah, it's really, you can really develop clarity more effectively with a subtle object. You'll find that if you've got a very coarse object, it's good for stability, to stabilize, because it's easy to focus on, but because it's a coarse object, a big object, it's hard to develop really clear attention. Whereas if it's more subtle, it's more easy to develop clear attention.
Thank you.
I just want to ask you about the full body one. I tend to find that on the back of my nose is where I'm aware of more often. Is that part of full body?
Yeah, anything from head to toe.
Full body is anywhere where you find your breath.
Anywhere, any sensations in the body, particularly ones associated with the breathing. Yeah.
So you could stay with the back of the nose then the whole time?
Sure.
If that's what you think.
Sure.
But can you also, with full body, go to the back of the nose and then suddenly find you're feeling it somewhere else and just...
Yeah, so then you move here, here,
So
here.
you're jumping around.
That, because in full body, we're just working with relaxation.
Right.
That's the main emphasis. So then it doesn't matter if we're moving around, because the thing we're emphasizing is not stability and clarity in particular, it's just relaxation. So that one is good for relaxation. It's not so good for stability and clarity.
In full body, what I understood you just said sort of to jump around, whereas in the past I sort of thought it meant kind of like, starting here and moving.
No, that's the body scan.
Right.
So in the full body, we're not doing a serial scan.
Okay.
We are, again, the main goal in the full body practice is to relax. That's the goal, to relax. Without becoming dull, of course, is to maintain whatever focus we have. Normally when we relax now, we become half asleep. So that's not full body practice. We're not trying to go half asleep. What we're trying to do is to relax more, but maintain whatever focus we begin with. Don't let that degenerate, as it normally does when we relax.
And the body scan.
And so then the body scan, of course, body scan can be done for a number of reasons. Often it's done in the context of Vipassana practice, because what we're doing is we are, I've rubbed it out now, but one of the insights in Vipassana practice, in fact in Theravada, the first insight, impermanence, is that you scan the body and you see that everything's just changing moment by moment. And then you come through that to realise, at least in the body, everything's impermanent. So that's more of a Vipassana practice. Okay. So again, you can choose any of those variations of the breath practice. I'll guide a little bit at the beginning, and then I'll let you I'll be silent for the rest of the meditation, and you can guide yourself then. Okay? We begin, as always, by preparing the body, setting the body into a state of relaxation, stillness, and vigilance. allowing the breathing to settle into its natural rhythm. And setting the mind into a state of ease and relaxation. Not dwelling in the past, not anticipating the future. In particular, letting go of any expectations for this meditation. And simply allow the mind to come to rest in the present moment. Focusing on the sensations of the breath throughout the body. Wherever you most easily notice any sensations associated with the breath. And then you can continue with the full body practice, or if you prefer, you can switch to focusing on the abdomen, or switch to focusing at the entrance of the nostrils. And maintaining an ongoing flow of mindfulness of the sensations of the breath throughout the entire cycle of each in and out breath. And using introspection to monitor the mindfulness, noticing if you're becoming dull or distracted, and then reapplying mindfulness when you find that you've become dull or distracted. So let's continue to practice in silence. And then in conclusion, we can dedicate the positive potential not only from this meditation but from our whole time together here today. We can dedicate all this towards the goal of cultivating this calm, clear, focused mind, this mind of Shamatha. So that we can then go on to transform our mind, developing positive qualities such as loving kindness and compassion, gaining insight into the nature of reality, and eventually overcoming all of our suffering. And we can expand our dedication out to include others, dedicating towards helping those around us as well, benefiting them in whatever way we can. Then it's often traditional to also recite a dedication prayer. So while I recite a well-known dedication prayer from great Indian master Shantideva, you might like to think about the words of this prayer. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature commit evil or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms, the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are warm with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. What I'd like to do now to finish today is have a look at the second part of practice, the daily life. and that is two aspects, preconditions and integration. So preconditions is about how to sort of set up our life in such a way to support this sort of practice.